A percussion ensemble is a great group to have. You can see the number of different instruments we have. The only problem is moving them. But it's always a pleasure to start off our concert with them. Like Mr. Vasquez helps us out in any program this large, requires a lot of people, and it requires a lot of experts, and Mr. Vasquez happens to be our drum expert. Our next ensemble is our flute ensemble. Now, Mr. Puzek, who's also our 6th grade band director, runs this for us, being that he's an expert in flute. We'd like to welcome them to the corner of the stage. They'll be performing tonight Shenandoah, arranged by Lombardi. Mr. Puzek. One of the interesting things that we always get to see is a lot of different styles of music, evidenced by the first two groups we have. One of the things we got very good at last weekend was getting on and off, and on and off, and on and off, and on and off, and back on buses, in and out of hotel rooms, and in and out of hotel rooms. So one of the things that we've been working on a lot with our students, and you'll see that we were so proud of them about the trip, was not only the way they behaved and the way they performed, but how easy it was to work with them and move the not small army, the rather large army that we deal with. Next, we'll move to one of our large ensembles, our concert band. And in your program, if there's ever a lull as we're resetting the stage, we've given you an idea of why we use several different ensembles, and also program notes on the pieces that we're playing, which might give you some insight into them and also keep us from having to talk the whole time. We'd like to move right now to our concert band. And this year our concert band is slightly bigger than it was in the last couple of years, which is why we can't close the curtains and set everything up behind the curtains. But hey, it's a good problem to have. Give us just a second, and we'll be back. Our concert band is conducted by my colleague and friend, Mr. Robert Bogle. The one advantage we had getting on and off buses, the seats always stayed in exactly the same place. We'd like to move on with our concert band. Their program is right in the pamphlet we gave you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming out this evening. Hope you enjoyed the music.
Thank you very much. If you hold on a second. If you give us just a second, we'll have our saxophone ensemble, and then we'll need just a little bit of time after that to reset the band for our next group. So just give us 1 minute. We'll be right back with our saxophone ensemble. Great job. Okay, again. We were lucky enough this year, or this spring, to have with us Mr. Ramon Medina from William Patterson University. Now, Mr. Medina, a lot of you got to saw conduct at the Valley concert. You'll also get to see him conduct tonight. He is an excellent saxophonist, and he was willing to donate his skill and his time to teaching some of our saxophonists this year about playing in a saxophone ensemble. Now, if you've never seen a saxophone ensemble, we saw one down in Disney, so they do exist. A lot of times you'll see them with mummers, but that's not all they're about. Mr. Medina gathered 4 of our students and worked on the following pieces, which we believe you enjoy. If this is the first time you're seeing a saxophone ensemble, I think you'll be very surprised at how well the instruments work together. Mr. Medina and our saxophone ensemble. Thank you very much. If you'll bear with us for just 2 minutes, we've got a pretty hefty stage crew, not talking about their stomachs, but talking about the people helping, that are trying to get us set as quick as possible so we can present you our wind ensemble. If you give us 2 minutes, we'll be back. Thank you. A wind ensemble is a smaller group. Again, not because we have no choice, but exactly the opposite, because we do have a choice. And it gives our students a chance to be just a little bit more on their own, accept a little bit more responsibility. As you can see, we have one of our students tonight sitting in a wheelchair, who about 5 or 6 hours ago, yeah, who about 5 or 6 hours ago hurt themselves in gym. Now, this is the problem that I know athletic coaches worry about, but about half the school came running down to me ninth period and said, "Oh my gosh, do you hear what happened to Dan Biggles? What are you going to do?" And if you don't know why, well, you'd say, well, there's other trumpet players. They can just play the part. Well, wind ensemble is one on a part. And if Dan wasn't here, his part wouldn't be here. And it's one of the things as we make up this ensemble that gives the students that responsibility. But it's also a mitigating factor when we deal with something like a sports injury to one of our lead trumpet players. Chivalry, you can read about the piece in your program notes. We invite you to take your straw hat, put your straw in your mouth, get your jug band, and join us in an old-fashioned Southern hoedown. Thank you. We're very proud of our next piece for a couple of reasons. It's a challenging job accompanying a soloist, but it's also a very enjoyable job. And we're most proud to have returning to our stage a man who helped to build a lot of what's on the stage. Mr. Whitaker's bio is in the program, but what we didn't list was that he was band vice president, equipment manager, and a big help to all the students when he was here. He was a John Philip Sousa Award winner. And through his career now, he's gone on to take the role of a music instructor. We invited him back this evening to present Beelzebub for tuba and wind ensemble. Mr. Whitaker. One of the students remarked, "I'm sweating more here than I did at lacrosse practice today." Our final piece, the wind ensemble I'd like to present to you, is entitled Black Granite. And again, the notes are in your program. One of the most powerful images I can ever remember seeing about the Black Granite, and he's referring again to the Vietnam War Memorial, is a painting that you see a lot of times in stores of a man in a business suit. And he's leaning up against the memorial. And from the memorial, hi Anthony, how you doing? How you doing? Thank you. It's my son. And he has his hand up against the memorial, and from the other side of the memorial are soldiers reaching up towards his hand. And I think the power that that image presents is a lot like what this next piece presents, Black Granite. Thank you very much. Please bear with us. We'll need about 6 minutes this time, but then it's the last change we're going to have to make. And we'll start with our symphonic band, which we'll explain to you when we get to that point. Thank you very much. It's a feat just getting us all on stage with close to 130 of us. Our first piece, Into the Storm, will be conducted by Mr. Medina. And again, we've been very fortunate to have him, and he's been coming in many days past when he was technically done student teaching to help us. So we hope you enjoy Robert W. Smith's Into the Storm, which our symphonic band will be conducted first by Mr. Ramon Medina. whatever school district is lucky enough to get Mr. Medina, we don't go anywhere yet. We wish him the best. We thank him for all his time. And many times as a teacher, people say, do your students ever give you gifts? Do they ever thank you? Remember, when they play like that for you, that's the best gift they can give you. Congratulations. Our next piece is about as antithetical, if that's a word, as you can get from what we just played. It's entitled "The Summer Was Just Beginning," and it's conducted by our assistant director, Mr. Robert Vogel.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we get to the last tune that our symphonic band will play, uh, I happen to be the captain of a very fine ship. And if you've ever seen Pirates of the Caribbean, it becomes... Hi, Anthony. Yes, I see you. Hi. How you doing? Okay. He talks quickly about how he can't move the ship with only him and one other person, that it takes a crew and officers and a lot of good sailors to move a ship. And although a lot of times I get to stand up and do the talking, it's really the sailors and the officers and the people who move the ship that we couldn't go anywhere without. And if you had seen us last weekend, or if you got a chance to see us that weekend, chaplains, thank you for coming out again, you would have been amazed at not only these students' musical abilities, but at their organization, their care for one another, and their ability to represent the school and the community. We have some very special sailors, so to speak, that we have to say goodbye to this evening. These are our seniors. These are seniors that have spent a lot of time with our program, and a lot of what we have is due to what they've done, and a lot of what is set up for people who might not even know them is due to what they've done. So we'd like to recognize them, and please feel free to clap for every one of them. First, Katie Sullivan. Krista Caltagirone. Yes! Only took me 4 years, Krista, but I got it completely right. Amanda Mascara. Dea Galera. Dave Shaman. Dale Oshoni. John Sama, who I believe right now is running our light booth. But John, thank you very much. Braden Delaunay. Kevin Goskowski. Careful, please. Brian Google. David Ortez. Kevin Shadell. Ricky Crafati. Adam Tordini. And last but certainly not least, Amy Cedro. Obviously the shy one. Folks, please come back. Please visit what you've worked so hard to build, and please realize we would not have it if it wasn't for you. We thank you very much. After this piece, we have a very special surprise for you. Alumni, get ready. And then after our last piece, which is in your program, please join us for some refreshments. Also, you can see the video that we made from Disney. This is a very exciting piece called Abram's Pursuit. And again, you can read about it. But if you imagine 318 people chasing an army across the desert, and then what happens when they catch them. Yeah, I like them too. Give us 1 second. We have the most fun that we have all year. As I said, our seniors are very important to us, and they've built what we have. Just as important to us are our alumni, and we're so proud to have so many of our alumni back here tonight. Some of them, we invite them back to play Semper Fidelis with us. Semper Fidelis is a John Philip Sousa march written for the United States Marine Band, and it translated means always faithful, which we're very lucky to have alumni who are. We'll invite our alumni up, and every year a couple of them say, oh, I haven't practiced. I don't know whether I should play. And I said, that never stopped you when you were here. So please come up and join us, alumni. Thank you. As if there weren't enough people on stage to begin with. Give us 1 second. Thank you. Afterwards, please join us. It's been a wonderful year, full of amazing accomplishments for our students, wonderful support from you as parents and administrators, and we thank you all for the opportunity to entertain you one last time. Please come see us on the Memorial Day Parade. Our students will be there to perform for the town, and they appreciate that also. Thank you. Thank you very much for the calls of encore. We're beat. We just got back from Florida. Thank you very much for coming out again and again. We appreciate your support and your liking of what we're doing and your enthusiasm for what we're doing. Please join us for some refreshments. Thank you very much. Safe ride home.